Ryan, summer's here and I love the long days.
You know, one day you won't want to miss is the Subaru Garden Days. We'll tell you more coming up next on Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time, and today is Capital Subaru's Subaru Garden Days in Salem, and Ryan and I will be there from 11 to 3 today.
So come down and visit Judy and I. You'll enter a raffle for a book or a gift card, or come get some great food.
You can also pick up some wonderful plants and see great garden art that you can take home.
Also coming up in the show today, we'll be visiting a miniature railroad.
We'll also be visiting one of Subaru Garden Days vendors, the Oregon Orchid Society.
But coming up first, pollinator plants. Well, I'm here with Leonard. We're down at Dancing Oaks, and Leonard, you have some amazing, unusual plants. You got butterfly attractors, insect attractors, and just things you just don't find anywhere else. So you have a great collection that you brought out today. So what are we looking at here today?
Oh, Ryan, I'm really glad you're here. It's fun to look at plants together. People are excited about different plants. Well, over here on the right side here, we got an interesting red hot poker or Nyphophia. They're all native to South Africa. This one's a little different than what people have seen.
Yeah, usually you have that real full,
tight little club-like head, and this is one that's more segmented and almost looks like an agave sort of bloom. Of course, the hummingbirds are attracted to it, like the other ones.
Yeah, with like that big deep throat on it.
Right,
It's really cool.
Even the hummingbirds and sometimes the cedar waxwings will go in and eat on those. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it gets about 4 feet high.
Yeah, so it's nice. You know, the foliage is similar, but that bloom is just super cool and different. And then this little guy is always fun.
Oh yeah, those are the eryngiums or sea hollies.
Yeah.
And they're in the carrot family, and so, honeybees really like those. They can work around on there for a long time. This is a species called Eryngium alpinum. Okay. So it's very hardy, good perennial, and it has a really cool flower head with these bracts around that are really spiky.
And I like as it opens up even more, it gets that really metallic blue color, which is just striking in the
gunmetal blue kind of. Yeah, it's a very different color for a blue in a flower.
Right. And then what's this cute little guy here?
Oh, Ryan, that is a Chinese mint bush. That's a great kind of woody perennial. It usually dies down to the ground for us every winter, and then grows about 4 feet in the season. Starts blooming about midsummer and will bloom all the way to the long bloom, and a nice fragrance to the foliage, which makes it deer resistant. The bumblebees like it as well, and it's drought tolerant.
So. It's nice, and you know, a lot of the mint bushes aren't necessarily hardy here, but this one
is. Yep, that's a very good long-lived plant.
And so, what else we have in our little bag of tricks over here? So you got this little guy here. This is.
Oh yeah, that's a nice evergreen honeysuckle. Even though it's a honeysuckle, it's not fragrant. But with a wonderful foliage that's really shiny and evergreen, you can forgive it for that. And it's a ground cover, but it has been known to kind of creep into little crevices and actually push itself up and climb a bit. But has these nice orange flowers.
But not a climbing vine like you might think about honeysuckle, but more of a ground cover. Sprawling ground cover. Yeah, it's got a really nice glossy green foliage.
Yes.
And then this little guy buried in here with this cool yoke.
Oh, okay, that is the flannel bush, Fremontodendron, and this is a cultivar called Kin Taylor, which is a cross between two species of the Fremontodendron, which are native to California and into Mexico. And some of them are tender, but this Kin Taylor has been hardy for us down to 0 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Big shrub, so you want to make sure you have room for it. But it's also very loved by the bees, honeybees. Okay.
And then this guy's, you know, if we're talking pollinators, this is a great pollinator plant.
It is. That is the Asclepias speciosa, which is one of the primary food sources for the monarch butterfly. They'll lay their eggs in here, and the little guys will eat the leaves. And the flowers are really quite showy on it and fragrant. Nice native
and it's
plant.
A summertime.
Right? Yeah. Summertime, and if it is a nice area where the ground is sort of rich and not too dense, it can run, so be aware of that. But it's we need to plant more for the butterflies.
Which is good. So you want more
Yeah.
butterflies, right?
And you can share it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then this cute little guy down here.
Oh, this is from South America, into Chile and Argentina. It's in the potato and tomato family. It's called Fabiana. So it's sort of like a heather in looks, or almost a conifer, but it has these interesting blooms on it, little funnel-shaped violet blooms, summer blooming, evergreen, which is nice.
Right, this is cool. And then this guy with all the spotted cool leaves and this great bloom.
Yeah, we love the pineapple lilies, another like the Niphopias from South Africa. And this one is called bicolor. It's a species, and this really wonderful purple margin to the little bracts here at the top.
Edges on those are just
so
looks fake.
yeah, and then these buds will open up to these purple spotted green flowers. So they're really just starting to, the show's just starting on this. And eucomis comes from the name meaning good head of hair. So this is this little head of hair there. So
got a little mop on the top.
mopped up. So.
And then last but not least, this wonderful plant, just coming into bloom is always a showstopper.
Yeah, this is the Erycema. It's native to Asia. Well, we have North American one as well, but the most diverse populations are in Asia. This is a Japanese species. And we've tried a lot of Erycema, Jack in the Pulpit, but this one is one that has persisted the best in the garden.
Okay.
Some have come and gone because of winter wet. This seems to tolerate our conditions well and can get much bigger than this here in the pot. But a cool leaf. These are usually pollinated by little gnats or small flies. Some of the arms don't have a great fragrance. This one is kind of in the neutral area.
Okay.
So it's okay.
But the bloom on it is
quite unusual.
What you're after. So you have this amazing selection. You guys are open.
Yeah, we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 9 to 5 during the week, and Sunday 10 to 4.
And and we're out here. It's a little ways to get out here, but it's a beautiful drive to get out here, and it's well worth viewing these stunning gardens. But people aren't necessarily wanting to come out. You can purchase them online too.
Right. Yeah, they can peruse the catalog online and see what we've got, and they can see what the selection is. They'll have to take into account that either they want to drive down and pay the gas, or us packing and shipping. So whatever's convenient for them.
Right. We definitely welcome you to come down. It's worth the drive. Go through and walk through the stunning gardens, and you'll definitely find things you've never seen anywhere else. So Leonard, it's a pleasure to come down and meet with you and see all these great plants, and to come out and visit the garden. So make sure you can go to your website, or you can go to gardentime.tv, and we'll click you over. So Leonard, always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan.
As gardeners, we have a lot of black plastic pots laying around our garden. Well, I'm with Ed from Fishingham Gardens. And so Ed, you have come up with a great way to kind of recycle these black plastic pots. What'd you do?
Well, I had some tender seedlings, some tomato seedlings, that I was concerned would get burned in the hot sun. So what I did was I took a pot like you have in your hand, and I cut it in half, and drilled some holes in the top here, and used landscape staples to secure it in the soil. And this way the seedlings get morning sun, but the hot noon and afternoon sun they're protected from.
And that is such a great idea, and it's something that we can just use that's around the house. We don't have to go out to the store, and really some ingenuity and just a little bit of chores, and you have a great solution to that problem.
Exactly, yeah.
And the plants look good, they're growing well, and they are protected until they get to be a good size, and then you can take it off.
Right, yes.
Well, thanks so much for that tip. I think that's a good one that we can pass along for everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years. with the help of your friends at The Wall.
Find everything you need for summer at Al's Garden and Home.
Subaru Garden Days returns to the Capital Subaru Pavilion in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join Ryan and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, June 11th at Capital Subaru.
Build a beautiful home inside and out at French Prairie Perennials. Inside, we have just the right creative elements to complete your decor. We offer an oasis of unusual, nature-inspired garden and home gifts and accessories. Outside, choose from our wide selection of unique dwarf conifers and sparkling companion plants. French Prairie Perennials, located between Woodburn and Wilsonville. Take exit 278 to Aurora and French Prairie Perennials.
Join Garden Time as we hit the road again. In September of 2022, we'll travel to Holland and Belgium. We'll visit the world-famous Aalsmeer Flower Auction, Flora World, the University Gardens of Ghent, and the Japanese Gardens of The Hague. We'll also visit the once-a-decade Floriade Expo, the World's Fair of Gardening. Enjoy the sights, sounds, and tastes of Ghent, The Hague, and Amsterdam on this wonderful tour. Go to Garden Time Tours for more information, and we'll see you in Europe.
It's always a fun and interesting field trip to come to One Green World and talk to Sam. And Sam, we just love coming because there's always something interesting. And today you have like a whole family of plants to talk about.
Yeah, it's a way we sometimes conceptualize and break down the plant world is by family. And it's always interesting to see how things are related and all the different ways a single family can express itself through different genus and species.
So what's the family?
The myrtle family, Myrtaceae.
Okay.
And it's a huge family from the old Gondwana supercontinent, and then broke apart and speciated into all these really cool, diverse different things, often coming from really diverse ecosystems. And so there's never a shortage, even in our climate, of things to play with.
Yeah, and like from guava to eucalyptus, which are so different.
Yeah, and tea trees and pomegranates and all sorts of different things. Pineapple guavas, Chilean guavas, so.
Very cool. And so these are kind of cool, but they're very small, so different looking, small plants.
Yeah, and they're almost all evergreen, which is nice for landscape
Nice.
plantings. They all are just full of essential oils, so you get this really cool thing either in the foliage or the fruit that's really aromatic.
An edible fruit, this one would be like late summer or so?
Yeah, most of these ones are all late summer. Various guavas we have here, it's pineapple guava, Chilean guava, and then even they call it the Chilean cranberry because it's this teeny tiny little diminutive
great.
shrub that grows as a ground cover, and it's already starting to get these little berries on it, and it tastes just like the ugni fruits.
And then with pineapple guava, I know I've even eaten the flowers. That's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's got this big fleshy flower. It tastes like cotton candy, and yeah.
And so I think as ornamentals, they're great, but then to have that extra that you can have the fruit too is kind of fun.
Absolutely, and most of these are either fairly drought tolerant or some of them extremely drought tolerant, but very ornamental and edible and fragrant too.
We have some more across this little pathway, so let's go look at some more.
Yeah.
Sam, this is a really neat one, a kind of a smaller tree.
Yeah, kind of a shrubby, large shrub, small tree. Chilean myrtle from northern Patagonia, Luma apiculata, and it's a favorite for us here because it is just interesting all year round. It's about to blossom. People call it the snowball tree when it's in bloom because it just turns completely white.
Wow.
Followed by these really, really fragrant, dark purple, almost black fruits that people use as cheesecake toppings and make jams out of and things.
Oh, wow.
And then this bark, if you'll notice, it's just getting to the age where you can actually kind of see the orange color on it, but it's really nice.
And it's an evergreen though?
And it's evergreen. Yeah.
That is so neat because, we're looking too, because some people have smaller gardens, so this would be a nice kind of a small tree for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one you want to site in sort of a protected spot, right up on the limit of its cold hardiness here. But so far, so good in our particularly cold pocket of Portland here.
Nice. And you know, when we walked in, we saw this really unusual apple tree, and you need to tell us really quickly about that.
Oh yeah, that's also another favorite of ours. That's our, we call it the tree of many red fleshes because it has many red fleshed apples grafted onto it. And it's one that typically the red flesh apples, at least historically, were kind of like bitter and tannic. There seemed to be that association with the red flesh, but lately people have selected for some really sweet, really delicious, almost berry tasting ones, and they're fantastic.
Yeah. You know, it's always a treat to come out to One Green World. There is so many things to look for. Make sure you leave lots of time when you walk around. Talk with Sam and the staff here, because it's all about getting that unusual plant in your garden that you can show off to all your friends. If you have any other questions, please go to Garden Time and get over to their website, which is a great resource too for more information. Sam, thanks so much. It's been great.
Thank you.
I'm at Adelman Gardens with Carol Adelman. And Carol, so we love your peonies. They're amazing, and we love to bring them indoors from our garden, but you know, sometimes we see ants on them. And so explain about the ants. There's a lot of people out here that want to take those flowers indoors, but they're just nervous about ants.
Well, the ants, the plant sends a sugar substance up to the bud to help it to grow and develop. And if it sends too much, it goes to the outside of the bud, and the ants are like the kids. They're there for the sugar. When the sugar's gone, they're gone. They don't help the plant. They don't harm the plant. They just are there for the sugar.
And so can we bring them in without bringing those ants in? Do you have a little tip?
One way is you can cut them in bud before they're totally open, before the ant got inside. You can slush the flower heads in a bowl of water so that the ants float off, and no ants.
And it's easy as that?
Yes.
So there you go. You don't have to worry about the ants if you want to bring these beautiful flowers indoors. It's as easy as just washing them right off. Don't forget to come out to Adelman Peony Gardens to see all the beautiful peonies. They'll be open through the end of June. Thanks so much.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
At Portland Nursery, we believe that gardening is a creative endeavor that enriches our experience, enlivens the spaces around us, and provides a safe haven for the mind. Portland Nursery has everything you need to make your space feel unique, inviting, and exciting. From houseplants and hedges to trees, tools, veggies, and herbs, our selection is always growing and changing, just like you. Come visit us today at 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
No matter what shade your green thumb is, you can find the plants and the help you need at Wavra Farms. We're filled with an astounding array of colorful plants to fill your garden. In addition to wonderful annuals and perennials, we are known for our hanging baskets. We also have all your garden essentials, and we have great garden gifts too. From beginner to expert, you'll find something new and different with every visit. Wavra Farms, located off Highway 22, Exit 5, east of Salem.
Well, finally, the Garden Railway Tour is back. I am with Bill from the Rose City Garden Railway Society, and so this is your home. This railroad is yours, and it's just amazing, Bill.
Well, it's been around for 25 years. It's been a labor of love, but it's frustrating at times, but it's coming along. It's kind of nice. If you've ever been to Wallace, Idaho, this is Wallace, Idaho now in my own backyard.
And it's so cool the way each garden railway is a place in time, a place in the United States or maybe the world that it is emulating. So yours is just not too far away, just in Idaho.
Just in Idaho in 1926, because there's no railroads there anymore. It's all been taken up.
And it's so cool because you do have buildings that are reminiscent of it, and even the silver mine that was there, and tunnels, and hit a couple of the high spots for us.
Well, if you notice that mine that's over there, that's a concentration mill, and if you look at history books, that's very close to an actual mill that existed in Wallace, Idaho. And this is a silver mine right here, where we take the ore out, and then the ore cars are used to take it to the concentration mill.
You know, I think it's fascinating too that everything is kind of to scale, and you even have plants to scale, and you'd have to take care of those too, don't you?
Oh yeah, and it's frustrating because you spend so much time. It takes about an hour to trim each tree so that it looks like a tree, not a bush. And by next spring, it looks like a bush again. And some of these are already looking like bushes. You should be able to see the trunk of all of them. The lemon cypress are the ones that grow the fastest, and they're the hardest ones to keep up with.
Well, that's gardening. It's always changing.
That's right. But the miniature Alberta spruce are a little bit are like a fir tree. And if you look at a fir tree, you can see that you can see the trunk usually. So one of the things we try and trim them so that you can see the trunk, and it's not just bushy.
And the gentleman that's behind us, Tom, is running the railway, and so he's got controls. And so tell us a little bit about running a train.
Well, we put a decoder inside the locomotive, and there's a lot of electronics. There's a sound system in it as well. There are magnets on the drivers so that as they turn, they create the chuff through the sound system. There are backup lights, forward lights, whistle, bell, a lot of sound system. So it sounds very much like a real locomotive. When you walk around, it's like you are the engineer.
And I noticed there's tunnels here, there's a pond, there's waterfalls, and so all that really goes into the making of a beautiful railway.
Well, it does make it interesting. And I worked so hard to get this pond absolutely clear. I hand washed 2,000 rocks. And we scrubbed everything out of the river, and it's still kind of murky.
Yeah, but that's Mother Nature.
That's Mother Nature. But anyway, so there's two pumps in there that move 150 gallons of water a minute.
Wow.
And we have both. They come down both the waterfall, and then there's a 50-foot river that goes up there that the railroad has had to build bridges to be able to cross. So it makes it more interesting than just to see a railroad driving around a series of rocks and dirt.
Of course. And so this is one of the stops, and the tour is next Saturday. It's Father's Day weekend. So how do we get to come and see all of these?
Well, you can go on our website, which is Rose City Garden Railway Society, rcgrs.com, and it will list all of the vendors that do it. And on the back of our book, we have all the vendors. Every hobby shop in the Portland area sells the books for $10. And then also we have Al's Garden Center, Hughes Waters Gardens, Yard and Garden in Vancouver, 7Ds, Portland Nurseries, and they all are handling the book for us. And you can buy them at any of those locations for $10. And $10 is the ticket that provides the entire family, from grandparents to grandchildren, to be able to come on the tour. Inside the book is a picture and description of each layout and directions on how to get to each layout.
You know, Garden Time has done the tour, and we've advertised it for them, and it's a great society, and it's so much fun to go see all the different settings and meet all the different people. The Garden Railway people are such great people, so forthcoming with information. So go to gardentime.tv, we'll click you over to their website, and come out with the whole family next Saturday and see all these beautiful gardens. Thank you so much.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Start your new Subaru story at Capital Subaru. We are like nothing else. From the moment you step through these doors, you see it, you feel it. We do things differently here. Our people, our culture, our customer experience. Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll upgrade the way you shop for Subarus. When you're just browsing, need great service, or starting your next adventure, we're always here for you. It's your story at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Subaru Garden Days returns to the Capital Subaru Pavilion in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join Ryan and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, June 11th at Capitol Subaru.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Well, today is Subaru Garden Days until 3 o'clock, and I am with one of the participants. I'm with Lori from the Oregon Orchid Society. And so, Lori, we've never had a Orchid Society come to one of our events, and so what are you going to do? What's going to go on?
Well, I'm pretty excited. We have a couple of speakers that are going to come in and talk about repotting, and we also have a mounting speaker as well that's going to come in and talk about mounting orchids on cork and different kinds of bark.
Very cool.
And so there'll be a whole nother presentation with regard to that.
But you're going to show us something that's really cool. I just think this is so radical because I've never done this before with orchids. So show us what this new kind of procedure, a new way to demonstrate having orchids in your home.
Sure. Well, this is really a nice way for people growing orchids in the home, because a lot of times orchids die because people overwater, underwater, and just don't really know quite how to take it in Oregon's weather. So I've been playing around with this, and I have a few examples here of a Phalaenopsis that I just did this a month ago, and if you look closely you can already see that there's been some new growth that's already coming out. So I'm just going to show you a couple different examples. Here's a phale, and here's one that just finished up, which is a Maxillaria tenafolia, which smells like coconut. It's wonderful, and we will have some of these for sale at the show.
And so talk a little bit about what the medium is in these jars.
Well, basically I'm going to actually do a demonstration here where I'm going to use clay. These clay balls right here hold moisture, and so those make a really nice base. And then I'll show you from there. But before we go there, I just wanted to show you that this is a Papilia, and this has been in here for 2 years, and just today I noticed that here's a spike coming. So cool. Again, I want to stress that by watering this once a month, maybe even once every 2 months, it's pretty trouble-free. It's like a terrarium, so there's nothing that is going to be leaking out or anything, and you can go on vacation and you can leave and you can not have to be taking such radical care of your orchids this way.
That is amazing.
This one just finished, and I didn't want to cut off the spikes because, again, to show you how floriferous it was. And again, this one has been in here for about 2 years, but again, look how fun this is. Just something I picked up at a garage sale and actually potted it up here, and it's just so fun. And not only is it a great way to grow in Oregon, it also is kind of attractive.
It is. It's so different on your table.
Yeah,
container.
Exactly. This has been in bloom since November.
Look at
and
that.
It's just finishing up. So I'm going to show you, and this has been in here for a couple of years too. Another orchid that, again, you can have some fun with pots and really decorate, and so when they're not in bloom, they're also lovely.
Exactly.
So let me show you real quick how to do this.
So really, it's a vase.
It's a vase.
Use a vase.
Yep. Just, and everybody seems to have lots of these laying around.
Of course.
So I just take some of this sponge or this clay, these balls, and I put them in here in the base.
And you could probably get these online or at wherever kind of flower shops.
You can even decorate with you can even decorate, you know, if you want to how creative that you want to be, you know, and just make it as artistic as you want it to be. And then,
so you want to fill it up maybe 3/4?
I would say a good halfway through. And again, that really retains the liquid.
Okay.
Then we're going to take our plant that's a lot of times to use an expired one that's already bloomed and everything, because that's going to be the best time to do it. It also gives you a chance to look at the roots, see if there's anything that's kind of
Cutting off.
that's
Okay.
dead. I kind of just give a quick little pull, and anything that is dead then comes right off.
Okay.
And then
I
we
can
take
grab
our
that,
bark.
sure. Okay, so you just still want to use bark mulch?
Yes,
orchid bark.
and sometimes you can put sphagnum moss in between as well.
Okay.
And again, just get this down in here.
And so you fill that rest
And this
of the way up.
this is soaked bark
Okay.
that I've put perlite in there.
Okay.
So I'll mix a little bit of charcoal with the bark. And then you just kind of plant it in there, and all really this is doing is holding it in place.
Okay.
So it doesn't fall over, kind of making it feel that it's nice and firm and happy in there.
And then what kind, you going to fill this up with water?
Well, we're going to fill it halfway with water.
Okay.
So basically, we're going to take the water here.
Okay.
And you can just look down here, and when it's about halfway full,
and so the roots will kind of go down.
they'll reach.
They'll
reach down there, and they'll get
Perfect.
what they want.
Excellent. And then what kind of light do you put that in?
Well, I like morning sun. Put it in like a morning window in the morning sun, and sit back and just let it do its thing. And it's really, again, keep that water about halfway through, and it's pretty problematic.
Oh my gosh, radical new kind of technique to growing orchids. And so Lori, tell us about what's going to go on today again.
We're going to have some speaking engagements on repotting as well as mounting orchids. You can bring your plants down and we can look at them. The plant doctor will be there to look at them, and we can help you with that. And we'd also love to invite you to be a participant in the Oregon Orchid Society and participate in our Zoom meetings where we have some great speakers.
Oh, that is great. And then there might be another group of people. The Cherry City Orchid Society is maybe becoming. So really all this brain power about orchids. So please go to gardentime.tv and you can get all the information about all the orchids from their website, and also to come to Subaru Garden Days. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
Come to where the color is. Come to Egan Gardens. We've worked hard growing healthy plants for you so that your gardening is easy. Add sparkle to your garden with our perennials, container plants, and skillfully designed baskets and planters.
Stop and get a mood lifter out here on the farm. We have lots of fresh air and lots of space. There's lots of blooming plants, new vegetable starts, shrubs, and berry bushes.
Egan Gardens, where it's all about the plants. We're located west of I-5 at exit 263 on River Road.
At Sagawa Nursery, we always talk about taking your garden from ordinary to extraordinary. For us, that means bringing you the newest and best plants and unique garden items to you, our customer. For you, that means we'll help you transform your garden into something that's extraordinary. We also have some great gift items and even a few surprises for inside your home, too. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
It's June and it must be berry season. I'm with Sarah right at Portland Nursery Stark. And Sarah, I'm standing here, it's berries, berries, berries.
We do have a lot of berries, yes. It is the perfect time for getting some small fruit in the ground, and we've got a lot of different varieties to choose from. So I think that's really the biggest question when people will know, oh, I want to plant a strawberry, but then they don't really ever think about the different varieties that there are. In this area, I feel like a lot of us know hood strawberries or Rainier strawberries because those will be advertised sometimes as the best tasting, which they are really, really good. But there are different varieties that do different things. So hood, for example, is a June bearing. So it's really great if you're going to make like strawberry shortcake sauce or a jam because it's going to just give you so many strawberries that you'll have them coming out your ears. But a lot of people prefer an everbearing for their house, you know, because then it will continue to fruit and not just give you this abundance where you have to eat them and do something
where you
with
feel
them
like,
all the way.
okay, they all come on, what do I do with them?
Yeah.
Which is great, you know, that if you're canning or preserving, you want that. But if you're doing some fresh eating and want to go out every day and get a handful or whatever,
Yes.
the everbearings are nice.
Yes. So we do have actually charts here that kind of break down, are they June bearing, everbearing, what do they taste like, different things like that, and that's also available on our website. So.
And then being that it is June now and it's, you know, they are bearing, but you're still selling lots of plants and have a great selection. Is it still okay to plant?
Yes. Yes, it is. And so in each of these pots, there's about 10 plants. And so you just kind of separate out the head, and you're going to want to plant them, you know, about a foot apart if you can, or in a pot. And a lot of people will say that you might not get fruit this year, but I think that you will.
Yeah, you know, looking at here, you're already full of flowers,
Yes.
and you have fruit coming on
Yeah.
a lot of these, so you already have a head start.
Yes.
You know, and we talked about, you know, June bearing and ever bearing, and that translates to raspberries also.
It does. And that's actually one other thing about the strawberries is they don't need pollinators, you know, like a blueberry would. Same with raspberries, they won't need a pollinator. So yes, we have some different varieties. Fall Gold is my favorite everbearing. It's a gold flavored berry, or a gold color berry, and it's just so sweet. And then we also have, Willamette is going to be my favorite for a June bearing berry. And then raspberry shortcake. Raspberry shortcake allows people to grow it in a container. So if you have a small area, or you're really not wanting to try to contain a raspberry, it's a perfect thing for you, and they actually taste really, really great.
Because people can be intimidated sometimes by raspberries because you'll send up the shoots and they're not sure what to do with it, or you need to train them.
Yeah, I mean they grow really well in this area, which is good, but also, you know, if they're growing really well in this area, they can tend to get a little bit invasive, and I think that if you let it get out of control, that can be true, but I think if you really just stay on it and kind of, you know, nope, this is where I want you.
Yeah, this is your space, go.
Yeah, like pull out the ones that are coming anywhere out of that space that you don't want. And I guess a trick that I've learned that, you know, if you're lucky enough to have enough space, is to kind of keep the water supply, not just like spraying the whole area. If they don't really have water outside of their designated area, they're gonna stay in there.
Which is a good tip.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're looking for some berries to get in your yard, being the raspberries, you know, the strawberries, and you know, you have blueberries and grapes and currants and kiwis, and the list goes on and on and on. You have this amazing selection out here at the Stark Street store or at the Division Street store, and you have lots of information on your website as far as all the varieties, what tastes great. So if you're looking for some fruits to get into and berries to get into your yard, make sure you come out here to Portland Nursery, visit with your staff, get your website, or go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over to their site. So Sarah, thanks for having us out today.
Thank you.
I'm in Hubbard at La Petite Bistro with the owner, Ann Schultz. And so, Ann, you know, I love this new bistro. So when did you open?
We opened at the end of September last year.
Oh, so really this is your first spring, first summer. So
yes.
What I love it, you walk in and it smells so lovely because you have baked goods and you smell the coffee. But I love your mission because I think we all want to be so sustainable. We want to help the environment, but you are really doing something about it. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we are just really trying to make a difference in our community. I have a daughter that's very passionate about this. Her degree was in environmental policy, and so she kind of helped spearhead this for me. But we really just want to make a difference, like I said, and you know, these reusables are one way that we're starting to do that by encouraging people to let go of the paper box and the bag and take your lunch in a nice little reusable and bring it back to us when you're going to order again, and you know, we'll fill it up for you again. So
that is just really a great kind of pulling that whole cycle through. And then you actually have gotten some grants for local businesses and small businesses. So tell us a little bit about that too.
We have, yeah. So we've been partnering with Marion County Environmental Services, and they awarded us a grant at the beginning of this year. And it's allowed us to restock our container supply And they're also helping to fund other things like our garden that we're using for some farm-to-table growing this year. They're helping to support the promoting of this program through stickers and social media. So they've been super supportive of this.
And I know you were working with local businesses too, because Garden Gallery Ironworks have made those raised beds. So that's really a great combination. They're just such a wonderful company.
Yeah.
And then to have the vegetables right there, man, that really helps you bring it into your menu.
Right, it does. And it's a nice little kind of eye candy thing. Originally we were going to put them in the back of the building, and my husband's like, no, we need to put them up front where people can see them. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's been nice.
So Ann, the sustainability issue isn't just with your company. You work with different growers or different suppliers that are also sustainable.
I do, yeah. I was very thoughtful in picking a lot of our suppliers for our food and our coffee. Our coffee roaster is Caravan Coffee out of Newburgh. They also have a very sustainable part of their mission as well that I love. Not only do they thoughtfully source where they're purchasing their beans from to make sure they're grown in sustainable conditions, but they're also involved in a lot of efforts to give back to those communities where those beans are being grown as well. And we also source our milk from a local dairy down the road in Malino, Lady Lane Farms. They as well have a very sustainable mission in how their cows are treated and how the milk is produced there at their dairy. So we love that about them as well.
And so what kind of menu items when you come? It's like everything is going to be so tasty, but kind of tell us the highlights.
So we do a lot of sandwiches, cold sandwiches, but we also do paninis, hot sandwiches. We also do fresh salads. We have a couple salads on the menu. We also do some open toasts for breakfast items. We get kind of a big breakfast crowd on the weekends at, like brunch time. We serve them with poached eggs on top and sauteed vegetables. On the weekends, we'll sometimes do specials where we'll make quiche or frittatas. We're hoping to bring crepes onto the menu at some point. So lots of ideas.
But you also have some old ideas too, so tell us about the recipes from your mom.
Yeah, so my mom had a deli in Woodburn in the 80s, and she really made a name for herself in the community and made all her soups from scratch. And so I've brought all of those recipes in, and we're using those with some tweaks here and there. We got to make them our own. So, but yeah, we're using a lot of those as well.
Well, such an interesting new place right here in Hubbard. We're always looking for a place to go and relax and then support the local community and small businesses. And it really has so many special different ideas. So if you're in the area or you're down in Hubbard, Woodburn area, it's a great place, La Petite Bistro, kind of downtown Hubbard. And you can sit outside for a coffee and enjoy all the things that they offer. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Join us for Berries, Brews, and Barbecue, now happening 3 weekends in June, featuring Oregon craft ciders and brews and barbecue. Enjoy barbecue. You pick strawberries, hay rides, live music, and much, much more. It's farm fun for the whole family at French Prairie Gardens.
For 90 years, Espoma has one guiding principle: develop the finest organic gardening products that work in harmony with nature, grow beautiful gardens, and make a greener world for the future. From our soil products to our plant foods, we have always been committed to the environment and sustainability. We use a vast array of natural and organic ingredients and package them in our 100% solar-powered plant. Look for the quality line of Espoma products at your local independent garden center. Espoma, organic from the beginning.
You can use water wisely this summer with these simple tips. Periodically, check your watering system to make sure it is working correctly. Tighten hose connections and adjust sprinklers to water plants and not the pavement. Give your lawn and garden a deep soak twice weekly instead of watering daily. Skip the fertilizer until the fall and mow your lawn less often. Taller grass holds moisture in longer between waterings. Get more water-wise gardening tips at regionalh2o.org.
Garland Nursery, a must-stop destination for those that want to play with plants and grow with their garden. Whether you are a new or a seasoned gardener, Garland Nursery can help fulfill your gardening desires and your landscape needs. From organic veggies, trees and shrubs to colorful blooms, from the newest trends in garden supplies and garden decor. Shop Garland Nursery to find that perfect plant or piece that fills you and your garden with delight. It's always a beautiful day at Garland Nursery.
this is a whole lot of compost. Looking for a home or garden. I'm at Grimm's Fuel with Chuck. And Chuck, you know, it's finally summer after all this spring rain. And so tell us why it's important to still put compost down as a mulch.
Well, compost does several different things, but a couple in particular is it helps with moisture control. And also, through the process of breaking down, adds nutrients, microorganisms into the soil, which helps roots thrive a lot more. Better, more vigorous plant growth.
That is
So
good.
the compost is nice. And, you know, from an aesthetic standpoint, a lot of people nowadays, it seems like a dark contrast with their flowers.
I think so too, and I think what I love it for is weed suppression, because wow, with all this rain this spring, the weeds have come up in tenfold.
Absolutely, and it does help with that. Even though it is a nutrient, the nice thing, if you can get it 2 to 3 inches, you have a lot more success with weed suppression, and that is another benefit.
And you know, I think about Grimm's is you have that new facility that you put in a couple years ago, and it makes the compost faster, but it really helps keep all of those beneficials in the material.
Oh, it does, yeah. It's still going through the same process. We still get the temperatures up to, you know, eradicate weed seeds and the ugly pathogens and things of that nature. And through that whole process, I think it may take, roughly 12 weeks or so, but it speeds it up immensely from our old static pile composting methods.
And so Chuck too, we can bring our yard debris here also.
Absolutely, yeah. Great place for all types of greenery. Yeah, you know, leaves, prunings, grass clippings, even the larger stuff we accept.
And it's not just about compost. You have many different products that you could either pick up or deliver.
It's real popular this time of year is the blended soil for raised beds. A lot of people, it's just ready to go product. You can plant straight into it. It's got all the nutrients in it you need. You don't have to add anything to it. Then a real nice lawn and turf mix, which is a real easy application, but it's got the lime and the compost and the sand and everything essential for planting a new lawn, whether it be seed or sod.
And then you also have like gravel and bark chips?
We do, yeah. The cedar chips we use a lot or install a lot at playgrounds for schools, but a lot of people like using for pathways. And then just a myriad of gravel products, you know, crushed rock, different sizes, shapes, and round rock, drain rock.
Oh yeah, it is a wide selection that you have there. And so you have all these different products, but you know, the benefits of compost is it's sliver free, where sometimes bark dust is not.
This is true. One of the drawbacks of some of the bark products, fir in particular, is you do get those little nuisance slivers. Compost, you have none. The hemlock bark, you have none. So that is nice. And it's a lot less expensive, the compost, but you have that added benefit of the nutrient quality as well as the ground cover. So in a big way, it's taking the place of hemlock. And hemlock nowadays is so hard to come by. It seems like the mills just aren't processing it like they used to.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, but sliver-free is really a nice option. People really like that.
That's very true. And you know, here at Grimm's, so you can pick up any of the products. You could have it delivered, you could even have it applied.
We do have a blower service also, yeah. So if you want to save your back, we do offer the blower service. It's a nice option for people. A little more expensive to have that done, but it's done in a couple hours instead of a pile sitting in your driveway for a couple weeks.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, what a great place to come to. You can find all the different samples here. You can talk to Chuck and the staff and really get your garden needs met here at Grimm's. Thanks so much.
Oh, Judy, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
You bet.
Well, we talk a lot about fertilizers, and we have numbers, and we have NPK. So we're going to talk about how to read a bag of fertilizer, looking at those numbers and what that NPK means and what it means to your plants. So you'll notice on a bag of fertilizer, you'll find 3 numbers, and those 3 numbers are your NPK, meaning the nitrogen, the phosphorus, and the potassium. And so the numbers represent the percentage of that element in your fertilizer. So the higher the number, the higher the percentage. And a good way to remember what these numbers mean and how these elements react to the plants is by going up, down, and all around. The first number is nitrogen, which promotes the up part, the green growth and the greenery of the top part of the plant. The middle number, the phosphorus, is the low, the down, which promotes root growth. And the third number is the all around, which is potassium, and that promotes the overall plant health. And it's important to remember not to fertilize them during the heat of the day. We want to make sure that when we do fertilize, our plants are well watered we apply our fertilizer, then we water them again to make sure we've washed all of that fertilizer off the foliage. You know, with any of the fertilizers that we choose or pick out, make sure you read the label for application rate. And remember, when we're picking out our fertilizer, up, down, all around, NPK. By applying a little bit of fertilizer, our plants will be healthy and strong.
Find everything you need for summer at Al's Garden and Home.
Join us for Berries, Brews, and Barbecue, now happening 3 weekends in June, featuring Oregon craft ciders and brews and barbecue. Enjoy barbecue. You pick strawberries, hay rides, live music, and much, much more. It's farm fun for the whole family at French Prairie Gardens.
Since 1929, Grimm's Fuel has powered great gardens around our area. With our comprehensive composting and yard debris services, we can apply quality garden mulch, compost, and blended soils with our experienced crews and trucks, including our landscape rock and bark products as well. We are proud of our industry-leading state-of-the-art composting facilities. We also can take care of your fuel oil and firewood needs. Grimm's Fuel, building great gardens since 1929.
Subaru Garden Days returns to the Capitol Subaru Pavilion in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join Ryan and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, June 11th at Capitol Subaru.
There is just something about Oregon strawberries. The flavor is unbelievable, and I feel like this year I've been waiting forever. Finally, about a month after where we were last year at this time, Oregon strawberries are now available, and at Bauman Farms, we're out here first thing every morning picking them fresh, which means when you come out to the farm, you are getting the freshest quality produce you can get anywhere. We only have a couple of weeks before they're done, and we're on to the next thing, which means now is the perfect time to come out to the farm to get your fresh Oregon strawberries because they just don't last that long. Come on out to the farm, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
We're out here at Al's in Wilsonville. I'm with Morgan. And Morgan, today you're going to show us this new product that we've just discovered.
Yep, absolutely. Hi, I'm Morgan Ryder. I am the co-founder of Thriving Design. And Thriving Design is based on the innovative seabite clip, which my brother invented in his basement as a replacement for tomato cages, twine, and tape that didn't fit his garden.
Right, and this system is a little bit different than some of the other staking systems that you might see out there.
Yeah, the thing that makes seabites so cool is they fit together in about 140 different ways. So you can make plant supports of any size or shape, and really what we like to say is the only limit is the gardener's imagination.
Right. So it's a much more modular system than if you're doing like tomato cages where you're kind of a fixed
Yep,
design.
so the tomato cage is one size fits whatever you've got. And the cool thing about this is you can put them in your peonies in the springtime, and then when the peonies are done blooming, you can move them over to your tomato cages. And then when your tomatoes are done, you can build a trellis for your pole beans. So they're super flexible, modular for whatever size garden that you have. And even now that a lot of people are growing in condos and small porches, you can still use seabites to fit that space.
Right. And it looks like we have a couple different setups. So how does it work?
So seabites are super easy to click together. You need a seabite that you put there onto a garden stake. And then you take another seabite and slide it into there. And then you click like that, and there's your corner for a cage or for a trellis. And the other things that you've got are the hooks here that you can attach netting or holes that you can put in plant ties. So really whatever you're growing, whatever you need to support or even protect, because you can use them to build an A-frame and put netting to keep out pests or a frost tunnel. We've even seen people build with them. So it really super flexible and super fun. It's like tinker toys for your garden.
Right. Yeah, because it looks like it's a very, very versatile, because instead of just using a single stake to tie something up or having like the tripod,
Yep.
you're able to expand into this as to whatever size you need.
Yeah, and it's amazing what people have come up with. We had one gardener who built an overhead trellis for her loofah gourds, and that she wouldn't have been able to build with a tomato cage, or would have had to be handy and have screwdrivers and knives. And she's also built a air plant holder and tray for her microgreens. So it's really, people get them and they just see how fun they are and keep finding other ways to use them in their garden.
Oh, very, very cool. And it looks like, when you buy a set, what all comes in your little kit there?
So what we have here is a plant support kit, and they come in 2 different colors. One is the tangerine orange, and the other we like to call incognito green, which is garden stake green, and they fit, blend with the foliage and blend in with the stakes. So if you've got a flower garden and don't want to see clips in your garden, then you can hide them with the incognito. And what it is, you get 4 5-foot stakes, 4 2.5-foot stakes, 17 seed bites, and then we've also got some plant ties. And with that, you can build any of the structures here on the back of the hang tag. So.
And then if you wanted to expand beyond that, it looks like there's additional things you can expand.
Yeah, totally. So the plant support kit's kind of like an entryway, and then we've had a lot of people come back and buy one and see how useful they are, and then they come back and buy a box of 100 or 26. And they come in actually 3 different colors. So the tangerine and incognito fit standard 5 and 6 foot garden stakes, and then we have a lime color which fits on smaller bamboo and 3 and 4 foot stakes. So if you've got stakes in your garden, all you need is some seed bites and you can start building custom plant supports.
Now we're out here at Al's in Wilsonville, but you also have another independent garden center. So if customers are interested in this, where should they go to find these?
Well, so in addition to the Owls around the Portland metro region, we're also in Farmington Gardens, Garden Fever, and Portland Nursery, as well as South Salem Ace and a couple of places in Washington. If you can't find them at your favorite garden center, make sure you go in and ask for them, or you can find them on our website, which is thrivingdesign.com.
Very cool. So if you're looking for a new way to stake up your garden and the trellising, make sure you go to their website, or you can go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over. So It's a great idea. I'm looking forward to getting out in my garden and seeing what I can construct.
Yeah, we love to see what people build and grow. And one of the other things I just wanted to mention is that we are a public benefit corporation and 1% for the Planet member, which means that we're giving 1% of our revenues to organizations that support getting kids in underprivileged communities out gardening. So we're a sponsor of the Garden Fever, or Growing Gardens Chef in Your Garden dinner series. So there's a great organization. They grow in schools, in prisons, and help set up gardens around town. So check out Growing Gardens. They're a wonderful organization we love to support.
Great. Appreciate all the information for being out. So we're looking forward to being in the garden and learning more about her.
Yeah, they're fun.
Great.
So, awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Garden Time. Don't forget to come visit Judy and I today before 3 o'clock down to Subaru Garden Days.
And don't forget to go to gardentime.tv for your chance to win a $200 gift card from Garden Gallery Ironworks.
For more information on today's show or our last couple episodes, go to gardentime.tv. Judy and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Garden Time.
Subaru Garden Days returns to the Capitol Subaru Pavilion in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join Ryan and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, June 11th at Capitol Subaru. The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.